Welcome back to our next session. It's my honor to invite on stage Mr. Athan Bloom, founder and CEO, Nano Resonance Industries. Mr. Athan, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Peace City World Congress, for having us. I'm the founder of Nano Resonance Industries and Hydro Resonance. We're here with our partners, Kenobi, and you may have heard a brief introduction of us yesterday with the incredible breakthrough sciences and innovations we're helping lead today. We have an incredible global team and a very different perspective on what is sustainability, what is regeneration, and what is efficiencies in energy. And this brings up what is a smart or sustainable city. Sustainability in itself is, the word just means to sustain. It means to keep things the way they are. It doesn't really mean to change anything. And we're moving into a different process and understanding of what we really need to do to change the partygram of energy, of water, of how we use our resources around the world. And we need to move into a regenerative platform, or regenerative technologies to truly make a difference. And this is why we're here. Okay, so we mentioned here the fifth industrial evolution. And we're not talking about revolution because we believe in something quite different. The fifth industrial evolution means that with new knowledge today, we move away from the notion that technology has to be disruptive to be game-changing. We begin to understand that elimination of scarcity is now just a choice by applying technology that we can work with in harmony with nature, and that we are not separate from nature. Resonance and frequency technologies effectively leverage the bound energy in existing and all industrial infrastructure to offer game-changing solutions for global water and energy challenges of today. Do we have a clicker?
It should be somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't see it. Production, can we help move to the next slide? We don't have the ribbon.
I will need it. Okay. Perfect. Thank you. So what is resonance and frequency? We have a long history, over 100 years of actually record of what electromagnetism is, frequency, nanowater, and now we're moving into another state which we refer to as resonant water. Resonant water is a modified state of water with lower entropy, affecting the energy conversions, entropy, enthalpy, energy state of water, allowing us to have higher efficiencies across industry. This reduces the surface tension, provides higher energy, which we refer to as electron density, provides greater fluidity, altered heat capacity, and lower temperatures in evaporation and heating. This means we are changing the boiling and freezing point of liquids, fuels, and gases. As you can see here, the difference is the equilibrium we refer to as entropy, the amount of energy that's still left within a contained system, and the available work that's available for us to open up using this new dynamic part of science. We specialize specifically in water treatment, water management for over 25 years. Practically applied, large industrial projects, work with some of the largest energy companies in the world now, and we're applying these technologies to effectively leverage the more available efficiencies and systems to get better savings. So this applies to water, fuel, hydropower, hydrogen production, and of course, new science, which is also laboratories, proof validation, new discoveries of technology. So water. Water is the most important element in our lives. It contains, it's about 72% of our universe is estimated as within hydrogen, but it's we're all water. We're all walking around, in these meat suits of water. And everything we use across industry, whether it's a heat power plant, a factory, 70% on average of all industry today uses water. Yet there's a lot of work and availability that we still have not fully explored yet. So what have we done? We've developed a suite of technologies that allow us to completely change the physical chemistry of water. This isn't just chemistry itself, but changing the physical properties to provide something much more efficient. We're able to completely eliminate the need or requirement for chemicals in the antiquated water treatment processes, where we can speed up the processes by about 6 to 10 times faster, eliminating the need for a lot of the infrastructure, and we're able to provide a lot more health and safety benefits at the same time with that. We've have mobile systems or stationary power plants, or stationary water treatment plants. The environmental impact is astounding. We have more oxygenation. We're allowing for dissolved elements to be broken down much more simply, faster, without the cost of chemicals and without the issues of safety. See, here's a couple examples. 1 to 5 liter per second water treatment plants, or a process of flocculation, separation, and the process in this type of technologies allows us to be scalable beyond limits. So here's a couple examples. These technologies below, we're using frequency and inductance together with what we call nanobubbles. And a bubble in itself is a sphere, just like our planet is a sphere, a plasmatic sphere. It's a waveguide for frequency. And with inductance and frequency, we can completely eliminate the need for chemicals, reduce the amount of power required, and energy consumption in the processes. We use processes like magnetic resonance, frequency, inductance, polarity separation, vortex, different temperatures. We're using nature, the same principles nature uses within our atmosphere, within our biosphere. We're doing the exact same process, but within a replicated way. And so these are some of the industrial results that we get. 15% increased efficiency on heat power plants and heat systems. The availability of thermal capacity of water is increased. Water fluidity is increased. The surface tension is changed, so we eliminate the scaling within water systems. Electricity is saved with the operation with the pumps and the life of a full system. And as you can see, here's an example of a power plant. We treat the gases. We can pre-treat gases before it goes to a combined cycle turbine or a large power plant to get significant savings. We have savings for the evaporation rate, the heat exchangers, the full process of a power plant. We can probably exceed 20 to 25% of energy savings on any kind of power plant in the world. And this also relates to elements, minerals, and salts, because salts is also crystal. And crystals, as we know, we use cell phones, and we see that it holds and stores information, but the structure of crystal is actually absolutely relative to how elements at a molecular level combine or separate. And this is what we're able to do with frequency. We're able to separate the molecules apart with much less energy, much faster, and pre-treat systems so they don't require so much energy for desalination. Irrigation water. Water itself is a surfactant, and we're allowing it to do, or empowering water to do its job much more efficiently. So it's able to penetrate the soil faster, absorb into a plant faster, break down minerals, because those minerals are bound in the soil with salts over time with the current state of how we use chemicals in irrigation. And irrigation emitters stay a lot more clean. You have more Brix values in crop production, which means more nutrients and bioavailability. And in something like hydroponics, which we heard earlier this week, you have no more scale, and you probably are reducing your nutrient content between 20 to 50% required, because you're taking water, or what the solution is, from a solution to a suspension. And as you can see, the penetration, this is a drip irrigation line, same volume of water, but the treated water that's going in penetrates directly to the soil, which means we don't have the evaporation on the surface, as a lot of you see if you go to a farm nowadays. We have lots of water being sprayed during the day, and a considerable amount of that water gets evaporated before it ever gets to the roots. I'm going to go through a couple of these pictures here. The sites, the maximum immune disposition and genetic disposition we see over and over again within plants tends to come out. You have more flower sites and more sugars available. We've used brackish water in some of the government projects in Mexico, where we've seen 30% increase in crop production. And they were able to grow crops with brackish water that they previously weren't able to because of the salinity content. Our technologies are applied in line. They're adaptive to current systems for farms, for irrigation systems, and a circulatory system as well for hydroponics. And you can see a couple examples here. The difference rates of the growth, the nutrient uptake, the bioavailability, that's all important for all species on the planet. Ice production. We get into a word called nucleation, sorry. And this is the ability for the water to penetrate or combine with molecules faster, creating a different structure in ice. So what we're doing is we're able to actually freeze ice about half the time at normal water is required to. So an ice rink, for example, normally freezes at 7.5 minutes. We can freeze that surface ice water in an ice rink in 3.5. That water's harder, faster to skate on. The puck doesn't slip, for example. River water. Inductance, frequency, nanobubbles. We've done various successful remediation projects for river water, where we're able to eliminate the fecal coliform, the bacteria, and not inhibit the growth of plants, animals, and estuary, creatures living in the water, and restore that water to a healthier state for recreational purposes. And hydropower. So hydroresonance, another one of our companies, specifically focuses on hydropower for modernization systems. We're today building systems or designing systems that are 30% more advanced for producing hydropower, for producing energy, than you'll see for most of the industry today. And that's because of the way we use modeling, dynamics, and understand the implosion requirements of water to have the highest efficiencies through the process. But with hydropower, let me go back one, sorry here. We have 10 years of research, successful projects, over 40 successful projects throughout Europe, multiple awards, constructed over 20 different turbines, and we're doing new R&D for resonance and frequency to break the cavitation of turbine systems to have even higher output efficiencies for energy production. We're moving into producing a world-class hydrogen turbine laboratory for building and modeling, pre-modeling the construction of hydro turbines for large energy projects. And also the world's first hydraulic jump, based on my partner, Dr. Yaroslav Tomalik, to gain another 10% additional increase in hydropower efficiency, because you can pull that water through the turbine like a vacuum instead of having to push that water through the turbine. So there's a lot of new innovative approaches with hydropower. We don't need to block all the rivers. I think small hydropower is one of the most prevalent parts of hydropower we have today. We don't have all big rivers around the world, but water is at a continuous state of flow. And so it's extremely reliable if we do it right. And if we use a bypass system or a lever type system, the sediments still flow, the fish still go up and down the stream, but our goal is also to remediate the rivers at the same time, meaning we can take this energy and put this back to reoxygenate the rivers. We can bring back, restore the biological life of a lot of these rivers and allow for the diversification of the rivers to be, back in balance. And that's a big part of hydropower, fuels. So, fuel optimization. Every carbon structure, or not every carbon structure, but fuel itself is an 18 hydrocarbon chain. What does that mean? It means that we have hydrocarbons that are assorted in a molecular order that have a certain efficiency when we burn it. But if you can put those molecules into electron alignment, the amount of efficiency just goes up through the roof. We have multiple successful installations by installing our technologies for combined cycle hydropower plants, or power plants. These are gas-fired plants. You'll see this one here, Boca Veracruz, we had 6% on fuel savings. I think the cost was about $1.2 million a month for their fuel consumption. This was Dow Chemical, 7.3% savings on their fuel volume. And we have quite a few more, but we can skip into hydrogen. All right, so hydrogen in itself is, there's a lot of controversy around it. Should we store hydrogen? What is the safest way to apply it? Does it work on cars? What are the regulations? What does all this mean? With resonance and frequency, you can produce hydrogen about 14 times more efficient than the standard industry through standard electrolysis. You have electricity going into electroplates. Those electroplates, you have energy going between those, and that energy can be intensified to where you don't have the bubbles forming on electroplates. So it's completely game-changing for hydrogen production as well. If we look at what hydrogen, for the requirement for hydrogen, most hydrogen systems require people to keep putting in a new type of solution or a new source of water. That is your fuel. But in this case, we can recirculate water and electron load that electrolyte so you could produce hydrogen on demand without the need for storage. It's absolutely game-changing for the industry. And laboratories. Proof of concept, sustainability, certification, and a new ISO standard on water. Why do we need it? Well, because water management and water is the critical greenhouse gas that I think we all don't really look at because it's everywhere. But how we use water is the most important part of closing the loop for circular economy. And so this is our inspiration from our group, from our team. We're advancing the scope of applied science, electromagnetism, quantum dynamics, quantum electrodynamics, thermodynamics, testing and validation, multiple universities, and different scientists and collaborators across the world to understand that there's a more holistic approach to water management, that we can do things much more efficiently. And as we understand that we can use these technologies in a way that leverages the efficiencies of water, we can save drastic amounts of water around the world as long as we apply them properly. And these are some of the areas that we specifically focus on within Resonance Labs. And some of our team here, this is partner Mark Hines, myself, and that's about it, everyone. If you guys have any questions for me, I'll be available after the next event here. So.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very impressive, the creativity and innovation within Kinobi Group. So let's keep in touch, guys. Now it's my honor to launch the Future of Healthcare session and invite on stage Mr. Simon Ramshaw and Dr. Erik Reis, Managing Director and Chiropractic Neurologist from Erconia Lasers, Dr. Vicente Salinas, CEO Plus Vitec, new drug design models, high performance omics. This is Chinese for me at this stage, but I hope in half an hour we will be understanding what it is about. Mr. David Nilo Muñoz, Product Manager and Strategy at Divisa IT. Please come on stage. Mr. Fran Guillen, CEO Impulsami Accelerator. Mr. Remy Oslislo, Sales Manager at Frequentis. And Mr. Miguel Angel Avila Santiago, CEO Neurofix Pharma. Please take your seat. They are even named, I guess. Didn't check. So this session is going to be very rich. What I suggest is that you take each of you, if you don't mind, when it's your turn, come to this desk, take 1 or 2 minutes to present yourself and your company, and no more than 10 minutes to make your presentation. Would that be okay? So let's start with Mr. Simon Ramshaw and Dr. Erik Reis. You are speaking together.
I'm introducing Dr. Reis, actually. But
okay, good.
Innovation happens whether we like it or not. We either choose to embrace it to drive ourselves and our businesses forward, or we don't. I think we're all here because we've chose to embrace it and drive ourselves and our businesses forward. My name's Simon Ramshaw. I'm the Managing Director of Aconia Lasers Limited. We're based in the UK, but we run Europe, the Middle East, and Africa for the US-based manufacturers of the equipment. I mean, most people associate lasers, right, with heat, with a thermal effect. We see them frequently on James Bond. You know, he's lying on the table, ready to end his life, and the laser's moving up towards him. But what most people don't actually realize that when we're looking at lasers, the lower you go down the electromagnetic energy spectrum, you get to visible light. And visible light doesn't require any heat. Visible light works specifically on delivering energy into the body to empower ourselves. You keep going down past that, you get to the likes of X-ray, you get to the likes of MRI. You can't actually feel it working, but it's able to actually take images of our bones, of our tissue, of our bodies, and more. Now, non-thermal low-level laser is something that we believe is changing the future of healthcare. All of these presentations and everybody on this table is doing a great job. They've got great technologies, great innovations. But what if these individuals don't have their health? What if they're suffering from chronic illness? Are they really going to reach the peak of human performance in whatever industry they're specifically in, which will work hand in hand with the great message that the Peace City world are delivering? Can I effectively run this company if my health isn't optimum? If I'm suffering from pain, is that going to affect my performance? Of course it's going to. It's going to affect everybody here. So what we're here to deliver today is just to give you a little bit of knowledge about non-thermal laser, about Aconia. We're a research and development company. Anybody who understands the way the American process works, you need a US FDA market clearance to be able to promote any technology. We have 20 of the 23 clearances given to low-level laser, which is the category that we specifically fall into. And every study is placebo-controlled, double-blind, randomized, multi-center. We spend over $1 million on every study to provide doctors, hospitals, and patients with the reassurance that it does what we say it does. So at this stage, I'd like to hand over to Dr. Erik Reis, who is a chiropractic neurologist from the US, who we're lucky to have actually in the UK to help us out here. So thank you.
It's an exciting time to be alive. As we're all gathering here today talking about innovation and what the future looks like, we're all kind of asking ourselves, what should Peace City Salamanca look like? What should peace cities around the world look like? As we talk about innovation, we talk about carbon neutrality, we talk about improving the infrastructure of our lives, let us not forget that the most important part of that entire messaging, that entire component, is people. It's us. No matter how advanced we become in machine learning, artificial intelligence, people at the end of the day are what we're trying to strive to benefit, to improve quality of life. And if we were doing so well at all these things already, then we probably wouldn't be having this discussion. So what does the future of healthcare look like? Are we trending in the right direction? Now, we can agree that there are a lot of advancements in technology and medicine and pharmaceuticals, understanding genetics, epigenetics, even our genome, from a standpoint of even looking at our microbiome. Our microbiome, the cells that line our intestinal tract, outnumber us 10 to 1. We're far less human than we actually thought we were. What's interesting with all of this is that we're learning a lot about what we actually possess. And here are the statistics on the global state of health. Cardiovascular disease still takes out 1/3 of our entire population on an annual basis. Global GDP doubled over the last 20 years. Almost 10% of our global GDP is spent literally on healthcare and trying to manage disease. The problem with this is that most of these diseases that we're managing are chronic diseases that manifest in our healthcare systems as acute diseases. The chronic obesity, the chronic diabetes that manifests as heart attacks, strokes. This is a massive issue, and if we're going to start over with smart cities, cities of the future, let us begin with the end in mind, to understand that there's probably more to the story than what meets the eye. Obesity is at a staggering statistic. Obesity wasn't really an issue for us in the 40s and 50s, believe it or not. Our populations are aging super fast, and this is a problem. We've actually linked aging down to the mitochondria. If any of you are following any of the work coming out of Harvard with David Sinclair, you know that the mitochondria is essentially the foundation for understanding why we age, how we age. Can we actually reverse aging? Your mitochondria is implicated with inflammation, your immune system, all the properties that we talk about, right? Time magazine, back in the early 2000s, talked about inflammation being the silent killer. It really is. So, how can we battle aging? How can we affect the mitochondria in some way, shape, or form? Well, some of these speakers today are going to talk about, yes, it's diet. Yes, it's nutrition. Yes, it's lifestyle. Yes, it's sleep. But if there was a non-invasive way for us to optimize our mitochondrial function, would we take it? I like to think yes. And this is exactly what non-thermal laser does. As Simon alluded to, non-thermal laser is concentrated light. It's billions of photons that are sent into tissues where your cells absorb this light and they optimize their metabolic function. It specifically targets an enzyme called your cytochrome C oxidase enzyme, which is a rate-limiting enzyme in your mitochondria. This is the enzyme that every single pharmaceutical company out there is looking at for aging. Every biopharma technology company wants to help optimize mitochondrial function. And we have the technology to do it in a non-invasive way. Your mitochondria control energy production, inflammatory responses, immune responses, things that are very relevant for us today. So why non-thermal low-level laser? For all these reasons listed above. No downtime, non-invasive. There's no pain associated with it. You have pain-alleviating properties. There's anti-inflammatory components. You can upregulate mitochondrial protein synthesis. You can protect your genome, promote quality epigenetic protein synthesis. Because here's the situation that we're in. We have a lot of people that are in chronic pain. There might even be some of you in this room that are dealing with chronic pain. What are the options? Low back pain is estimated to affect 632 million people annually. What do we have for interventions for those? Surgical, medication, right? Opioids, maybe therapies, maybe rehabilitation. Chronic pain will affect at least 10% of the population annually from this point forward if we don't do something about it. What's amazing with what Erconia has, as Simon alluded to, is that we have 20 of the 23 FDA-cleared clearances for alleviating pain. A lot of them deal with low back pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, post-operative surgical pain, plantar fasciitis. We also have 6 clearances in the aesthetics line, dealing with obesity. Erconia has been in the news a lot, especially in the research, getting grants for whole body clearance, talking about alleviating pain, being put against placebos in multivariate, multi-site level 1 studies. But on top of that too, we can have a vast impact on the opioid use worldwide. Not just for musculoskeletal pain, but for chronic pain. Because what is chronic pain? Neurons that fire together, wire together. In neuroscience, we talk about neuroplasticity. For those of you in this room who are learning things this weekend, your brain is changing, right? But neuroplasticity can also work in a negative way, where chronic pain fibers, C fibers in the spinal cord now wind and fire together, where now they're winding up your nervous system to promote more pain. So now you have more pain chronically over time because your nervous system is being maladaptive. That's a problem for us. What about brain health, right? We're talking about dementia. We're talking about Parkinson's. We're talking about Alzheimer's. Did you know that Alzheimer's is being touted as the type 3 diabetes? They're linking elevated chronic blood sugar levels to degradation of the nervous system. Depression, anxiety, PTSD. Do we have a solution for these yet? This is really the silent epidemic that we're dealing with. And once again, what we're finding is that non-invasive, non-thermal low-level laser can have some significant benefits to alleviating some of these conditions. They're using this in multiple situations: traumatic brain injuries, concussions, neurodegenerative conditions. What's also really interesting with this too is we're using it for neurodevelopmental disorders, kids with autism. We're looking at children with learning disabilities. Powerful, powerful mechanisms that we understand relatively well that can completely change the way that we look at how we develop systems, medical systems, things that we're going to be talking about later today with the other panel members. It's really a yes-and conversation because as we've shown time and time again in medicine, it's not a one-size-fits-all. Every single one of you in this room today has a different brain, and that's a good thing. That's what allows us to think and grow and adapt and challenge thoughts and improve and be innovative. Let's take a look at another large category, obesity. Worldwide obesity has tripled since 1975. We're clearly doing something wrong. This year alone, we have 1 billion people who are obese. And this isn't just an adult problem anymore. We have adolescents, we have children who are clinically obese. Something's going on. This is not a genetic issue. Our genes don't change that quickly. This is an environmental issue. Yes, it's the foods we put in our bodies. Yes, it's the environmental toxins that we're dealing with. Yes, it's the quality of the water. It's our social norms, it's our social relationships as well. And if we don't do something about it, we're going to be in a really tough spot. Because obesity is preventable. What Erconia has done with some of their research is they have the first FDA clearance for utilizing their technologies for a BMI of 30 to 40, which is a clinical obese category. What's amazing with this is literally what happens. Now that is a fat cell. Our technology doesn't kill off fat cells or eliminate fat cells like liposuction, cryotherapy. What it does is it opens a transipatory pore inside the fat cell to allow fats to leak out. That's in real time what that looks like with our technology. The fat leaves the cell, it's absorbed by the lymphatic system, it's cleared by the lymphatic system, the liver, and it's not reabsorbed to other tissues as you might think. This is also what it looks like. Fat cells literally diminishing, releasing their contents into the bloodstream for your body to be able to exclude it. The clinical outcomes are amazing. If you take a look at what happens over 12 weeks for traditional therapies, right? 41 millimeters is the largest one with looking at a different type of laser. Emerald achieved 154 millimeters, almost 6 inches of fat loss within 4 weeks, in a third of the time. And these are some of the results. In conclusion, I want to ask you, what do you want the future of healthcare to look like? I know from Marconi's standpoint, we would love to play a part in that role. And we're helping doctors and clinics and patients every single day that we're allowed to be able to help them out. Thank you.
Guys, we obviously appreciate we're running out of time now. We don't want to take any more time of the other speakers. One thing, unfortunately, we don't mean to be rude, but because the talk was a little bit late, we've actually got flights to catch from Madrid up to Paris. So we're going to have to actually depart in around 30 minutes. So if anybody has any questions, by all means come down to see us, or my contact details were on the last slide that Dr. Reis provided. So, Erik, I think we've got to unfortunately pile out. So, Peace City World, thank you for an absolutely fantastic event. Bringing all of these wonderful people together with all of these technologies, I think it's only means one thing, that we're going to make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Dr. Vicente Salinas, CEO Plasvitec. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Muchas gracias por invitarme a compartir este magnífico evento en esta sesión, en este momento que creo que es histórico, de Salamanca como ciudad mundial de la paz. Es para mí personalmente un gran privilegio y un gran honor participar, como estamos participando estos días, en este tanque de ideas en el que estamos convirtiendo esta vieja ciudad, histórica ciudad del conocimiento como es Salamanca. Y me siento muy orgulloso porque me da la sensación de que muchas de las ideas que estamos compartiendo aquí o en estos días aquí en Salamanca van a ser las que van a transformar realmente para mejor la sociedad y la vida de todas las personas que habitamos en el mundo, ¿no? Estamos hablando de tecnologías que nos permiten tener mejores alimentos de forma más sostenible, mucho más saludables, tener ciudades más amigables, más confortables para el ser humano, más acordes con el medio ambiente, más respetuosas, más equilibradas y tener energías mucho más sostenibles y mucho más respetuosas con el medio ambiente. Y para disfrutar de todas estas cosas que serán una realidad sin lugar a dudas en breve, necesitamos también disponer de una buena salud. Y estamos escuchando también conferencias impresionantes sobre nuevas tecnologías, que suenan ahora muy revolucionarias, pero que probablemente dentro de poco nos sonarán como muy normales y que seguramente harán de una forma mucho más holística que los seres humanos dispongamos de una mejor estado de salud. La longevidad, para poder disfrutar de todas estas ciudades, de todos estos privilegios, la longevidad o el intento de aumentar la esperanza de vida del ser humano es un viejo afán de la humanidad desde hace muchos años, ¿no? De hecho, los médicos, los científicos, yo soy médico, trabajamos denodadamente desde hace décadas para intentar mejorar la esperanza de vida y la calidad de vida de los ciudadanos. Y en una carrera contrarreloj, contra un elemento que es crucial y que todos tenemos presentes, y es que todos tenemos en algún momento que morir, ¿no? Nosotros, los médicos, luchamos contra el reloj para intentar equilibrar esta balanza a nuestro favor, y está claro que hemos tenido relativamente bastante éxito, ¿no? Puesto que en las últimas décadas hemos logrado mejorar la esperanza de vida del ser humano desde los 30, 40 años hasta los 70, 80 años, que es la esperanza de vida actualmente del ser humano. El problema es que parece que hemos llegado a un estado de aplanamiento de la curva, en el que ya no logramos mejorar, nos hemos estancado en la mejora de esta expectativa de vida, ¿no? Hay, sin embargo, para mejorar esta expectativa de vida, para avanzar en este conocimiento de la longevidad del ser humano, se han establecido iniciativas muy interesantes a nivel del mundo, como por ejemplo esta de Altos, que está formada por algunas de las mejores mentes, de las mentes más brillantes en ciencia del mundo, incluido el profesor Yamanaka, que es uno de los padres de la medicina regenerativa, premio Nobel en 2012, y financiada por el señor Bezos con 3 billones de euros. Es decir, muchas mentes, las mejores mentes, la gente más brillante, trabajando con financiación suficiente puesta por el doctor Bezos, por el señor Bezos, para intentar mejorar, aumentar la expectativa de vida del ser humano. Probablemente la primera, la del señor Bezos, seguramente. Hay otras, como comentario adicional, decir que el señor Bezos, sus orígenes familiares, sus abuelos, proceden de un pueblo muy cercano a Salamanca que se llama Villafrechós y que está a 1 hora y media conduciendo desde aquí. Una anécdota. Existe otra iniciativa también muy interesante que se llama Cálico, también con insignes investigadores, con mentes brillantes trabajando para mejorar la longevidad, con prestigiosísimas universidades y también muy bien financiada por el señor Page, con el dueño de Alphabet, de Google y la empresa farmacéutica Avila. Es una iniciativa también muy interesante, también intentando mejorar la expectativa de vida del ser humano. Si alguien está interesado en invertir en alguno de estos proyectos para mejorar la expectativa de vida del ser humano, existen muchísimas iniciativas a lo largo del mundo, compañías, tanques de ideas, proyectos, universidades trabajando en proyectos muy interesantes para conocer mejor la longevidad y para aumentar la expectativa de vida. No obstante, tenemos un problema. Y el problema es que el factor limitante fundamental con el que nos encontramos para mejorar la expectativa de vida del ser humano es el cáncer. De hecho, el riesgo de padecer cáncer aumenta de forma dramática cada año de nuestra vida. Y, desde luego, por tanto, el cáncer es el principal factor limitante de la longevidad. Y como círculo perverso, es la longevidad el primer factor de riesgo de desarrollar cáncer, con lo cual es un círculo muy difícil de resolver y que es en lo que estamos nosotros, en intentar romper este círculo a nuestro favor. Afortunadamente, los tiempos modernos nos han dado varias herramientas tecnológicas que son fabulosas, fascinantes, ¿no? Que son las tecnologías capaces de generar una gran cantidad de información científica sobre cada paciente a tiempo real, el acceso que tenemos a las bases de datos, a todo el conocimiento a nivel del mundo, lo tenemos disponible de forma fácil en nuestro portátil y a tiempo real. Por supuesto, las herramientas nuevas de la inteligencia artificial, de conocimiento profundo, aprendizaje profundo, la enorme potencia de computación que se duplica cada 2 años desde hace años y la capacidad de diseñar drogas, ¿no? Básicamente, las tecnologías que nos permiten mejorar el conocimiento de los biomarcadores, es decir, la secuenciación de nuestro material genético, de cómo en nuestro cuerpo se han incrementado incluso por encima de la ley de Moore de la computación, es decir, somos capaces cada vez mejor de conocer cuáles son las bases moleculares del ser humano. Por otro lado, existen centenares, miles de bases de datos que nos permiten tener a tiempo real toda la información sobre ciencia, sobre medicina, sobre genética, sobre cáncer en concreto, y que están disponibles a tiempo real y de forma totalmente gratuita. En cáncer en concreto existen iniciativas donde ya tenemos localizadas 200 millones de mutaciones que pueden tener interés en cáncer, en la mayor parte de los cánceres importantes. Toda esta información está disponible online para los investigadores y las herramientas de la inteligencia artificial nos permiten gestionar a tiempo real y de forma inteligible para el ser humano toda esta información que, como comprenderán, es absolutamente enorme. Y no solamente nos permiten conocer cosas sobre nuestro funcionamiento, sino que además nos permiten predecir cómo interaccionan las sustancias que nos componen unas con otras. Por lo tanto, tenemos un acceso a una ingente cantidad de información sobre cada uno de nosotros, a una ingente cantidad de información sobre todo el conocimiento que existe en ciencia y herramientas que nos permiten gestionar de forma eficiente y desde el punto de vista computacional toda esta información, ¿no? ¿Cuáles son las ventajas que ofrecen? pues podemos soportar la decisión médica manejando a tiempo real millones de datos y mejorando la eficacia y la seguridad de los fármacos. Podemos garantizar o mejorar la sostenibilidad de los sistemas sanitarios mejorando la eficiencia del proceso. Tengan en cuenta que solo el 50% de los pacientes con cáncer sobreviven a la enfermedad y que el 20% de los pacientes con cáncer mueren por los tratamientos, no por el cáncer ni por la evolución de la enfermedad, sino porque no ajustamos bien esos tratamientos. Y eso supone un enorme coste para los sistemas de salud. En cuanto a otras opciones que nos permiten es la posibilidad de los médicos de comunicarnos entre nosotros y también nos da una oportunidad de comunicarnos a tiempo real con los ciudadanos, saber cómo quieren ellos que diseñemos los sistemas para su salud. Y la herramienta más interesante son las herramientas computacionales que nos permiten diseñar fármacos. En el futuro, no solamente con toda esta información podremos ver cuál es el mejor tratamiento disponible para un paciente, sino que podremos fabricar a tiempo real un fármaco específico para ese paciente, solo para él, un traje absolutamente a medida. Totalmente fascinantes estas nuevas herramientas que tenemos, que son accesibles, de código abierto y de acceso gratuito. El estado del arte es que en este momento podemos estudiar mediante una simple biopsia líquida, una muestra de sangre, cómo es ese paciente en concreto. Podemos procesar toda esa información a tiempo real con herramientas computacionales. Podemos elegir la estrategia terapéutica mejor para ese paciente y aplicarla de forma precisa, ¿no? Con esto podemos obtener resultados como los que les muestro con pacientes con cáncer de pulmón que no responden a tratamientos disponibles actualmente y que, sin embargo, sí se pueden rescatar, se pueden curar con este tipo de estrategias, o pacientes con cáncer de mama. ¿Y cuál es el futuro? El futuro es mejor todavía, porque tenemos herramientas que además nos permiten ya hacer esto en casa. Es decir, ya no tendremos, los pacientes con cáncer ya no tendrán ni que ir al hospital, ¿no? Pueden obtener una biopsia, una muestra de sangre pequeñita, pueden utilizar este dispositivo, que es un secuenciador de tercera generación, por favor, tradúzcanlo bien, secuenciador de tercera generación, capaz de generar 50 gigabytes de información a tiempo real. Es pequeño, es portátil, es fácil de usar y solamente necesitamos una conexión a Internet para poder enviar toda la información sobre mi cuerpo que genera este aparato con un pixelado de 50 gigabytes. Lo podemos procesar en nuestra base de datos y diseñar, no solamente, como decía anteriormente, buscar cuáles de los tratamientos actualmente disponibles es mejor para este paciente, sino que en un futuro próximo creo que podremos incluso diseñar un tratamiento para este paciente específico para él, para ese momento de su cáncer, y enviárselo a su casa. Y, por supuesto, controlar la evolución, la monitorización, hacerlo todo vía online con aparatos que la tecnología nos ofrece ya, como es este secuenciador de tercera generación que nos permite controlar el proceso a tiempo real e incluso a distancia. Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you very much, Dr. Vicente. Divisa IT, Mr. David Nilo Muñoz, Product Manager and Strategy.
Okay. Well, thank you so much to everybody for attending our session. Amazing pitch, Vicente. Congratulations. I'm going to talk in the next 15 minutes or 13 about how to improve and scale healthcare services through technology. So, do you guys know that at least 55% of the population, at least here in Spain, practices sports regularly? And when I say regularly, I mean basically at least once a week. And not only this, but also that 20% of the Spanish population is receiving psychological services. So with no doubt, we can tell that right now, nowadays, people are more concerned about their health than ever in history. And what do we understand by health? So it's basically the state of being free of illness or injury, but not just in the physical way, but also in the psychological. So this is changing, and it's changing really fast, because until now, healthcare services, well, you were a citizen, you were involved in a medical condition, and suddenly you became a patient, cancer or an accident or whatever, and healthcare services were able just to treat us and heal us in the third state, where we became patients. But this is going to change very soon, because healthcare providers will have to pay attention in all the steps of the process. So basically, they have to pay attention to prevention, prediction, treatment, and monitoring. Why? Because they can, for example, spread personalized healthcare data for avoiding diseases. They can predict what is our body saying about our medical condition, medical data, and forecast future diseases. They are going to heal us for sure. And then monitoring, because one of the largest problems that we have in our system is that we are not able to heal that patients forever, and they fall another time in releases and discharged from the hospital. So in this new context, patients are demanding personalized healthcare data services. So the problem for me, it's really clear, because if we have just 1.7 doctors, it's 1,000 citizens. In Spain, it's much better, but it's just 4 doctors, it's 1,000 citizens. And if we see the figure in the US, it's 2.6. So it is clear, with no doubt, that our infrastructure is not going to be able to provide that personalized healthcare data to everyone. And we may think that if we increase the number of hospitals, if we increase the number of physicians, we are going to be able to do that. But that's not going to happen, because the expenses that our government would have would be huge. So the solution, like in vast majority of the occasions, is technological enablers, is technology. What is a technological enabler? It's a core technology that acts as a basis for future innovation. So in the past, we saw things like web. In the present, we are experimenting things like blockchain and cloud. And well, coming soon, right now, are coming technologies like artificial intelligence, VR, augmented reality, and those sort of things. And in the future, probably, why not quantum technology? Quantum computing, sorry. So the question is, how are we going to deal with these technological enablers? Are we going to understand them with as a threat, or okay. Sorry. So are we going to understand them as a threat or as an opportunity? And this is precisely what will determine the nation development that we are going to have. So the products that we are creating based on that technological enablers are precisely that products and solutions that work as a painkillers and will innovate in digital health market. And those sort of solutions have to be widespread in humanity and the society, because can you guys imagine if just a couple of us would have computers or mobile phones? It would be an alpha asset with no doubt, but it wouldn't be a real progress for everyone. So this is not new. We have a wide range of solutions in the market. It's not necessary going to the doctor, physicians by your own anymore, because you can have by appointments, you have platforms for monitoring healthcare data, you have artificial intelligence for diagnosis, you have medical chatbots, medication control apps, virtual reality for hospital, for operating rooms, and all those sort of things that are widespread and that will figure how is the future. So these new trends in digital health will bring new players in the environment, because basically we are having until now hospital clinics and, let's say, traditional healthcare providers that will ally with software companies for providing digital solutions in healthcare. And these players are going to play an important role in the future because they have the physical infrastructure for healing us, for treating us in their hospitals, operating rooms, and those sort of things. But on the other side, we have new companies, native digital health companies, that usually what they are basically doing is providing healthcare services through technology and in a remote environment. So I don't know what's going to happen. We can forecast it more or less, but if there's a particular situation in this sector, is that we have to play in a connected ecosystem. We have to live with that connected ecosystem. So in the right part of the slide, you have the physicians, and in the other side, you have the patient. The physicians are going to work, as always, in the hospital integration system where the patient's data is, where the business core is, and that integration hospital integration system, is going to integrate with the apps that we are currently using. I guess many of you have an app from your healthcare provider or your Apple Feed, your Google Feed, or whatever you guys are using. So we are gathering a huge mass of data and we are integrating with the hospital. But those sort of solutions that are going to bring us a real future and progress will have to integrate in this connected ecosystem. So, well, let me talk a little bit about our company. We are Divis IT. We are a family company based here in Spain. We are software developers since 1981, and we basically build online services portals through our technology, using our technology, Proxia. Not only in digital health, where we gather millions of patients here in Spain, but also in other areas such as education or tourism. We are basically helping both public administrations and hospital chains and healthcare providers to digitalize their operational processes and their relationships they are having with their users and patients. Things that we are, for example, doing, we have patients apps for digitalizing the personal health record, the medication control, healthcare advices, personalized healthcare advices, therapeutic adherence, or we have social network, for example, to collaborative diagnosis for sharing that knowledge, or we have platforms also for monitoring medical data and forecasting diseases, personalized healthcare advices, and all those sort of services. So, well, I've been very, very fast because I was looking for the time. So, conclusion is that we have improved and scaled the healthcare services, not building more hospitals, no hiring more physicians, but using technology. So, let's build a more efficient and complete healthcare system. The future, with no doubt, is here. So the question is, how are you guys going to deal with it? Thank you so much. If you want to reach me out by LinkedIn or by email, happy to connect. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, David. That was great. Thank you. And now my friend Fran Guillen, CEO Impulsame Accelerator. Which technological innovations are revolutionizing healthcare and will bring about a change of era for civilization in the coming years?
Yeah, thank you very much. Hello, friends. I'm Fran Guillen from Seville in the south. I'm very happy to be here with my friend Munir and all the staff. Yeah, let's start. I'm director of an accelerator program called Impulsame, Boost Me in English, in the south. I'm also a serial investor and entrepreneur. He founded a company called Plus Baytech. I'm going to talk a little bit about it, and general manager of that company. So today I would like to start with this quote of Steve Jobs. That is, I think that the biggest innovations in the 21st century would be the intersection of biology and technology. A new era is beginning, just like the digital one when I was his age, because he is referring to his sound rate. So I think it's really exciting. It's a really exciting moment. And what are these innovations that are happening in this sector, in the healthcare sector, and is building the future? First of all, let's quick review some of them. Telemedicine, of course, I think we are all now familiarized with these kind of things because of the COVID situation. And telemedicine with virtual reality and augmented reality is coming. Of course, probably you know about how the relationship between the patients and doctors. But I think it's even more important, the relationship between the doctors, okay? Because let's see this video and let's figure out how it could be. I need the audio. Thank you. That's only an example that what we can do, not now, but maybe in a few years. And this global healthcare service that we can provide with kind of things is mind-blowing. So next big thing, major trend is the big data and the genomic information. And this company is already in the market. It's 23andMe in California. And they have a test. It costs like 100 euros. It's not so much. And they provide you information about your genomic with salival samples, but not only for the current health, because they have a huge amount of information of the global DNA of all the world people, and they compare your DNA with that, and they can say where are you from, your DNA is about your ancestry, and that's very important because you have probably predisposition to certain disease. So you can predict that you probably in the future going to suffer some kind of things. And it's not now working. It's not so expensive in some countries. So this is only an example that big data and genomic information could be in the next few years. Of course, I think you know this is the big thing now, artificial intelligence, and we can talk about OpenAI and ChatGPT. I think you all tried it. It's a mind-blowing website that you can chat with artificial intelligence. It's a general intelligence. But surprised me that a few days ago, they published a paper that proved that OpenAI passed the medical doctor exams in the United States. So yeah, let's try it. And I have this conversation with the ChatGPT. I say, hey, I have a cough, fever, what's wrong with me? And thought, yeah, I don't know, because I'm not an expert, but if you try, I say, hey, I slept tonight with few clothes, and it was cold, like here in Salamanca. Say, probably you have to be careful with that and that. And if I insist, finally, it said, that, hey, you have to take this medicine, and the side effects are that, and you are like this and this. So it's amazing, because it can change the relationship between patients and doctors. And I'm not saying that this is a real doctor, okay? But this very good enough for this stage. And the next version is going to be better. And think about this is a general artificial, not prepared for that. So it's mind-blowing. And as I said, pass a medical doctor's exams in the United States. Next big thing, Internet of Things, IoT. Why? Because this guy, Lawrence Marr, is building a human body model in real time with a lot of sensors. This guy is in the California Innovation Institute. And he has like I don't know, more than 100 sensors in the body. Some of them are like this, very, very small in the finger pick. And you can know how are you now, right now, and you send information to the medical doctors and predict what is going to happen and to treat you on time. So it's amazing. And the number of connected wearable devices in the world is growing. So I think it's a very, very good thing to follow. And of course, robotics. This guy is amazing. It has a tech talk. Let's see the video.
Pretty self-explanatory. This one will allow me to type on the keyboards. We then move the thumb to this position and we can get a tripod grip. So picking small things up.
Yeah, amazing. So it's a bionic arm. It's Miguel. It has a tech talk that you've had to. It's amazing to watch it because he lost his arm and is now very happy with this new arm. So these kind of things are now even in prototypes, but going to be in the market in a few years. And of course, rehabilitation devices.
Similar success story can be found at Minnesota's Mayo Clinic, where Jared Shinnock, paralyzed since 2013, has regained his ability to stand and walk with assistance. The 29-year-old also had an electrode implanted in his spine. It's linked to another implant in his abdomen that communicates wirelessly with an external remote. The device enables neurons to receive the signal that he wants to stand or step.
Like my sitting balance and stuff has gotten a lot better. I can shoot my bow a lot better because I'm able to have more trunk support. My standing's gotten a lot better. I can stand. Walking on the treadmill has gotten a lot better and easier.
So it's not a miracle, it's science. And this patient have a spinal cord injury and now can walk again. So this kind of things is going to be the next few years, not only talking about 20, 30 years, maybe this decade we can see it. And of course, 3D printing, well, we know what kind of things we can do now, but maybe you don't know what they are doing with 3D printing now. This company, Organovo from Santiago, is printing tissues. And with layers of tissues, they can build organs, real organs with your DNA. So this is a kidney that they are producing with the layers of this tissue, and it's like micro replacement, not only for arms, for your organs too. So it's amazing too. And of course, neural implants. I don't know if you have watched this video. It's amazing. It's a monkey with a neural implant in the brain and can work with the video game. So this is a company called Neuralink from Elon Musk, of course. And let's see the video.
The links record from more than 2,000 electrodes implanted in the regions of Page's motor cortex that coordinate hand and arm movements. Neurons in this region modulate their activity with intended hand movement. For example, some might become more active when he moves his hand up, and others when he moves it to the right. Using these data, we calibrate the decoder by mathematically modeling the relationship between patterns of neural activity and the different joystick movements they produce.
They unplug the cable, so it's
After
only with the
few
mind.
minutes of calibration, we can use the output from the decoder to move the cursor instead of the joystick. To control his paddle on the right side of the screen, Page simply thinks about moving his hand up or down.
So amazing. Of course, the last example of this technology that are trending under your trends is personalized medicine. Vicente explained a little bit about our company. It's called Plus Biotech. It's a biotech pharma company. He discovered a drug that we are repurposing for cancer, and with the help of the machine learning platform, we can adjust the dosage of this drug and have very, very good results, amazing results in more than 10 types of cancer. One example is this. It's a patient, a terminal lung cancer patient, in the last line, no other options, and after 4 months of this treatment, we have a complete remission of the tumor. So this patient is now alive. So we are now in a phase 2 clinical trial, and we are raising money for the next phase 3. So why is innovation accelerated? Because this is amazing, but why it's happening? First of all, because Moore's law. This is the co-founder of Intel who said that the microchip is gonna double every 2 years. So, and the capacity of the is much more faster. But not only about the speed of the processors, but also about the capacity to process information. That's a price of a gigabyte when I was born, and the price now is less than 1 cent. So, this is all about technology, at least for the beginning. But this is a case study of the genome project, and they started with no idea if they could suspect about decoding the DNA. But with the exponential evolution of the Moore law, they finally get the result. So it's amazing because you are working at the same time that the technology is evolution. So, but there is another reason. The second reason for me is the market maturity. You know all that what happened with the smartphones and the iPhones it's a new market. So a lot of people, very smart people, are trying to get money from that. They are trying to build apps and trying to make a lot of things. So that's why health apps are now like a big trend, and a lot of things are happening there. So that's another explanation that why this is accelerating, because the market maturity is enough. But for me, that's the most important reason. Do you know what is this pic? This is the first painting of a coffee shop in the world. It was the coffee shop in London, and the people went there to drink coffee. These are coffee cups, and to share ideas. And like Stephen Johnson, the most interesting guy who talks about innovation in the world, said, they taking and they are sharing their ideas with others, and with this idea they having idea sex, because producing the ideas is that really accelerated that. And that's the moment that the enlightenment period of time in history started with this kind of things. But now we have a better coffee, like this event, and all, of course, because of internet. These are the connections between Facebook accounts in the world. It's the new Silk Road of knowledge. We are now much more easy to connect with people and to share ideas. So, finally, what do you plan to do with this information that I'm going to give you? You have to decide to embark or not to embark, to invest in that kind of thing, or to help, or to start a project on that. And for me, the main reason is this. Dan Pick says that intrinsic motivation has 3 pillars. The first one is autonomy, okay? The second one is mastery, and if you are an entrepreneur or an investor, of course, you have autonomy and mastery because you are investing in whatever you want to do, and you are learning, testing things, so you have these 2. But if you start a project or invest in healthcare, you also have the third pillar, is purpose, because you are helping people, you are saving people's lives, and that's why I now in the project with Vicente in Plus Biotech. So, even if you agree and you say, yeah, it's okay, but I have fear, I'm afraid to fail, I don't know what is this about, let's finish with this quote of Steve Jobs. Remembering that you are going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose, because you are already naked, and there is no reason not to follow your heart. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Fran. That's great. Mr. Remy Oslislo, Sales Manager at Frequentis.
Thank you, Manir. It's a green one, huh?
Yes.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you. My name is Remy, and I'm a part of the Frequentis family. So for those who have been there since the beginning of the conference, Dr. Riyad gave me 2 days to actually think about something he mentioned during his speech. He actually aligned the development of cities with the reference to Dubai. So far, I have been living for 17 years in Dubai, and I started asking myself for the past 2 days, why am I still there? And the reason I found this morning at 3 o'clock in the morning was that it's because it is a safe environment. I actually live in Dubai safely, I work safely, I commute safely, and this is the reason I do not want to leave Dubai. Frequentis is actually a company that is focusing in making the world a safer place. And for us, life of people are priceless. We think that everybody on Earth deserves to be saved or secured. So I have just 3 points to discuss with you today. I will just present Frequentis, public safety, and the vision for smart cities. So let's talk a bit about history. Frequentis was established in 1947. That's 2 years after the end of the World War II. And the idea behind Frequentis was to be able to make sure that in case of another crisis or war to blow up, to be able to save as much as possible as to be able to save as much as people as possible through the help of developing technologies. This is a video to actually explain.
We set standards that define communication and information solutions for safety-critical environments. Reliability and performance in control centers when it matters most.
Notruf Feuerwehr Rettungsdienst. Ja, wenn Sie bewusstlos wird, rufen Sie nochmal die Flughafen Feuerwehr der Notruf.
Frequentis is the global market leader in voice communication systems.
Request information to track number Alpha Alpha 010.
As a technology driver, we provide solutions for traffic growth and capacity challenges at times when airspace users are changing. Performance is measured in seconds when lives and livelihoods are on the line. Police forces, first responders, public transport dispatchers, maritime operators, as well as search and rescue coordinators rely on Frequentis technology to keep us safe at all times. Safe transportation of people and goods is needed locally and around the world. Our focus on research and development is based on a deep commitment to innovation. We shape the way technology develops actively. We focus on technologies that impact our future and find the winning approach. We apply latest technology which builds on improved data exchange and collaboration, enabling visionary concepts of operation. Our products and our people operate globally. Locations on all continents and close cooperation with our customers give us a solid understanding of regional needs. We shape standards together with clients and global institutions. We are Frequentis, 1,900 employees globally, with safety-critical DNA, as well as passion and experience. We will continue to keep 3 billion passengers safe every year. We are Frequentis, and our commitment is a safer world.
Thank you very much. So this is a map representing our presence around the world. We have offices in North America, South America, in Europe, in the Middle East, and in Asia. And as well, we have a network of partners that actually provide our solution within specific countries. Now let's talk a bit deeper into public safety, but as well not too deep because we don't have too much time. So when it comes to public safety, our core product is called LifeX. What LifeX does, it's a platform of communication in which you can actually have any types of communication from 5G, from LTE, from any radio frequencies, emergency calls. It can be even through social media to inform a dispatcher that there is a crisis somewhere or there is a victim somewhere that needs some help, and the dispatcher will either send the police, the fire brigade, or the ambulance, or all three at the same time without wasting time to save lives as fast as possible. This is another video just to talk to you about the references that we have within public safety. So this slide actually represents the same reference that you have seen, except for one, which is the National Command and Control for Qatar. So Frequentis have been the partner that have taken care of the critical communication for the last FIFA World Cup 2022, which just happened last year. And the way we actually work with the clients is always the same, because it's allowing us to go for continuous learning, understanding their needs, transfer knowledge between us and them, and between our departments internally, and to have a very high corporate culture where we'll actually take the client by the hand from the initiation meetings all the way to the delivery of our projects. As well, in Frequentis corporate culture, we don't speak about competition, we speak about co-opetition, because we use some of the elements of our competitor, co-opetitor, to be able to build the best solution in class and to be able to provide the best services to our clients. When it comes to the vision of smart city for Frequentis, we actually come up with complex solutions, and the idea is that there is no safety without security. So in order to be able to provide value to our client, we need to make sure that the solution that we're providing are fully secured and to avoid any cyber attacking or hacking and so on, which brings us to bring the value to the client to be able to do their job by saving lives, for example, protect properties, or to maintain public orders, which are just some of the examples of what our clients are doing. So this is actually a slide that presents you the different departments that we are working for. We have civil aviation, air traffic management, military air traffic management, public safety, public transport, and maritime. There are correlations between all those departments, and this slide will actually show you that some of the solutions that we are using for civil air traffic management are still used for the defense department, for the public safety department, the maritime or the public transport. All this is developed as well through our research and development. We actually inject 7% of our profit on a yearly basis in order to be able to design the next trends when it comes to public safety and security. And our roadmap until 2025 is to become basically the #1 in critical control room in the world. And basically what we do is that we invite our partners and we invite you to be part of the history. The history basically to set standards when it comes to worldwide control centers. And just this for the same reason that Frequentis was established in the first place, which is to make smart cities a safer place. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Remy. And now, last but not least, Mr. Miguel Angel Avila Santiago, CEO Neurofix Pharma.
Buenos días, muchas gracias. Bueno, hemos resistido prácticamente hasta la hora de comer. Yo prometo ser rápido y conciso y además comentaros, Neurofix es una empresa de Salamanca y yo también soy de Salamanca. Quiero decir, existimos desde hace ya 5 o 6 años y yo siempre explico que una empresa biotecnológica no surge en cualquier sitio y no existen casualidades en torno a esto, ¿no? Para que una empresa biotecnológica tenga lugar, se tiene que dar una serie de coincidencias que se nutren de un conjunto de actores y de factores altamente complejos. Y no en cualquier momento se dan, es decir, depende del lugar y del momento y del tiempo. En Salamanca, por suerte, desde hace ya unos cuantos años, se están dando estas circunstancias y nosotros somos, creo que, un ejemplo de ello. Además, nuestro lema es desde Salamanca para el mundo. Nosotros lo que hacemos en Neurofix es intentar desarrollar un fármaco para el dolor neuropático en pacientes con lesión medular. Realmente lo que tratamos es de intentar mejorar la calidad de vida a este tipo de pacientes y estamos ya en una fase tan avanzada como la fase 2B3. Solo existen en España en torno a 7 empresas que estén en un desarrollo de un producto en una fase tan avanzada. Pues bien, nosotros desde Salamanca, en el Parque Científico, estamos en esta fase. A mí, antes de comenzar un poco a explicarles quién somos, qué hacemos, me gusta comentar una anécdota que a mí me resultó bastante curiosa alrededor de Magnus Carlsen, el campeón del mundo de ajedrez. A Magnus, una vez, un periodista le preguntó, después de ganar un torneo, dice, tenemos curiosidad por saber cuál es la razón que mueve tu criterio a la hora de elegir la mejor jugada. Básicamente lo que le quería decir, ¿por qué ganas siempre? Y Magnus, como educado es, le mira al periodista y le dice, no entiendo la pregunta. El periodista le vuelve a insistir, dice, sí, quiero decirte, ¿qué piensas cuando decides las cosas? Magnus sigue diciendo, no entiendo. ¿Cuál es tu estilo de juego? ¿Por qué decides tus movimientos? ¿Cuál es el árbol que te arropa a la hora de decidir tu táctica? Y Magnus insiste y dice, no sé a qué se refiere. El periodista ya se empieza a cabrear, dice, joder, no me quedará decir su truco, su secreto. Entonces insiste y dice, vamos a ver, tu táctica, tu estilo, tu razón de decidir las cosas, ¿cuál es? Y Magnus de repente esboza una sonrisa, se le queda mirando al periodista, le dice, yo simplemente elijo la mejor jugada en cada movimiento. Claro, cuando te liberas de creer tener tantas cuestiones a la hora de poder decidir, es cuando realmente aparecen las mejores soluciones. Esto es un poco lo que quiso decir Magnus. Y yo creo que evidentemente el apostar por el sector biotech, el sector biotecnológico, ahora mismo es una apuesta absolutamente acertada. ¿Cuánto ha dado Silicon Valley a Estados Unidos? Pues bien, la revolución que en su día fue la tecnológica, creo que hoy por hoy, como bien han explicado también mis compañeros, es la biotecnológica. Y el crear ese Silicon Valley, el localizarlo, el generar esos recursos, ese entorno, para que llegue a éxito, es extraordinariamente importante de cara al futuro. Y una ciudad de la paz, una ciudad como la que se quiere crear y montar en Salamanca, ha de poner en el centro el área y el sector biotech. Porque no me confundo si apuesto que dentro de 10, 20 años, entre comillas, las materias primas, o sea, el producto que va a hacer diferenciar el éxito o el fracaso de proyectos, de ciudades, de países, es la apuesta por el sector biotech. Y estoy absolutamente convencido de ello. Y luego, entrando ya más en quién somos y qué hacemos, en Neurofix tenemos un producto, el NFX 88, que está en fase clínica 2B3. Ya se ha demostrado la seguridad y se ha visto que puede ser eficaz para reducir y mitigar el dolor en los pacientes con lesión medular. ¿De acuerdo? Nosotros, ahora mismo, el mercado del dolor está cubierto, pero no del todo bien gestionado. El mercado del dolor en los pacientes con lesión medular actualmente está tratado por otro tipo de productos que no han sido desarrollados específicamente para esto. Actualmente el producto que se utiliza para tratar este tipo de problema factura del orden de los 2.000 millones de euros al año, que es la pregabalina. Nuestro mecanismo es absolutamente diferenciador porque nuestro producto se ha desarrollado y pensado para justamente tratar este tipo de problema. Hasta la fecha, efectivamente, mejora las condiciones de este tipo de pacientes. Lo que hace, no quiero entrar demasiado en temas técnicos, pero lo que hace básicamente es el recubrimiento que se daña en una lesión medular, lo recubre y ese problema que existe en la conducción lo solventa. Bien, como he prometido ser rápido, realmente nosotros lo que hacemos es simplemente desarrollar un producto farmacéutico para llevarlo a éxito y poderlo disponer a un acuerdo con una licencia con una Big Pharma para que luego ésta pueda ponerlo a disposición a nivel mundial. Nuestra patente nos protege en todos los mercados más desarrollados del mundo. Tiene una vigencia lo suficientemente cómoda para poder ser interesante para estas Big Pharmas. La valoración actual de Neurofix es de 22 millones de euros, que en otros países pues, esta valoración evidentemente sería muy distinta, muy superior para un producto farmacéutico en una fase clínica 2B3, que es en la que vamos a comenzar ahora. Ya se ha estudiado, se ha probado en 7 hospitales punteros a nivel nacional y la fase 2B3 se va a realizar en 20 hospitales a nivel internacional, la cual está comenzando ya. Para esto disponemos de un equipo técnico altamente cualificado para poderlo ejecutar. Alrededor de Neurofix, aparte de los que aquí pueden ver, existen en torno a 40-50 personas. Y como les digo, tenemos la valoración de la empresa actualmente es de estos 22 millones de euros, teniendo la posibilidad de en 2 años, 2 años y medio, terminar el ensayo clínico y poder disponer de un producto farmacéutico a nivel mundial, un producto farmacéutico desde Salamanca. Esto en Castilla y León creo que hacía 20, 30 años que no ocurría. Para esto necesitamos todavía el desarrollo de la fase clínica que nos falta, nos requerirá alrededor de los 20 millones de euros. Para ello, actualmente estamos en una ronda de ampliación abierta que buscamos 7 millones de euros que se va a ir sincronizando con una serie de hitos clínicos que van a dar lugar a una revalorización. Una empresa como la nuestra, al final del desarrollo de su recorrido y pudiendo disponer un producto farmacéutico a disposición de las grandes farmas para competir en el mercado, pues evidentemente la valoración puede estar entre los 150 y 300 millones de euros. Y una vez llegado a ese punto, lo que intentaríamos es justamente ir a otros tipos de dolor. Dolor posherpético, dolor por cáncer, dolor diabetes, etcétera, etcétera. Y como una de mis premisas era no alargarme demasiado, esta es la empresa y gracias por su atención.
Thank you very much, Miguel. We are reaching the end of this session, but before we leave, Mr. Talal would like to share a few words with the attendees. Mr. Talal. So Mr. Talal is going to speak in Arabic, but I think his speech is translated on the screens, so you will be able to see it.
السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
أنا سعيد بتمثيل بلادي المملكة العربية السعودية من خلال الشركة العصرية لتطوير المباني الذكية، والتي سوف تتولى بناء مدينة سلام على مساحة 120 كيلومتر مربع بمدينة جدة، خلاف القرى الصغيرة على مساحات ما بين 10 و15 كيلومتر، بعد أخذ تصاريحها وموافقة حكومتنا الرشيدة إن شاء الله من خلال الشركة البريطانية للمباني الذكية. وحكم تخصصي في إدارة المخاطر وأزمات الأسواق العالمية والمحلية، فإنني أشيد بشركة مدن السلام، حيث أنها تصحيح لمسار الاجتماعي والفكري والاقتصادي، وهنا تتلاشى كل المخاطر، حيث أن حضارات الشعوب تقاس بما يلي: العيش والظروف الطبيعية، الوضع الاقتصادي، العلاقات الاجتماعية. وهنا إنجازات كبيرة عندما نسأل كم مريض يعالجه الطبيب في اليوم الواحد، كم جامعة تنتج أجيال ذوي وعي، كم طرقات تستوعب حتى نتمكن من إدارة الوقت، متى نصل. هنا لا نطيل كثيرا، ولكن نشكر المستضيفين ونشكر الحكومة الإسبانية وأشكركم لإصغائكم، ونترك الفرصة لآخرون. هنا نهدي شركة مدن السلام ممثلة في شخص الدكتور رياض خليفة والمستر جون، فنسأل الله لهم التوفيق. شكرا.
جزاكم الله خير. Thank you very much, Mr. Talal. Mr. John Lavrak, Chairman, Peace City World. If you don't mind, you will contribute to the photo.
There comes a time when we heed a certain call, when the world must come together as one. There are people dying. Oh, when it's time to lend a hand to life, the greatest gift of all. We can't go on pretending day by day that someone somewhere will soon make a change.
Here for the photo.
All a part of God's great big family. And the truth, you know, love is all we need.
Huh?
We are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving.
There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day, just you and me.
Thank you.
Well, send them your
Good for the
heart, so they know that someone cares, and their lives will be stronger and free.
As God has shown us by turning stone to bread. And so we all must lend a helping hand. We are the world. We are the children.
We are the one to make a brighter day, so let's start giving.
Oh, there's a choice we're making. We're saving our lives. It's true, we make a better day, just you and me.
We get down and out, and there seems no hope at all.
But if you just believe, there's nowhere we can fall.
Well, let's realize, oh, that a change can only come when we
Stand together as one. We are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving. There's no choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. So we'll make a better day, just you and me. We are the world. We are the children.
Dear friends, we just finished the sessions of the morning. If you are hungry, you're free to go for a lunch break, but we don't have time to wait until launching the session of the afternoon. So the future of education is a session that we are going to launch probably after a 10 minutes break. Thank you very much.